Hello everyone, welcome back to EduHunt video lessons. We are dealing with the plant tissues, and plant tissues are categorized into meristems and permanent tissues. Meristems are the dividing tissues and permanent tissues they cannot divide, and the permanent tissues are categorized into simple tissues, complex tissues or vascular tissues and secretory tissues. And we have gone through all the categories of tissues. Like simple tissues, they are again categorized into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. We have seen the difference between those different categories of tissues and also their functions and structure in detail. Let's have some examples and some illustrations and worksheets regarding this chapter. Let's start. These are the basic level questions only. If we understand the concept of plant tissues clearly, we can easily, without any ambiguity, without any doubt, we can clearly answer these questions without having any doubt. Yeah? The first question in the worksheet is a group of cells alike in form, function and origin is called. That is a tissue. Tissue is the group of cells that have the same origin and even they share the same structure and function. According to the histogen, it is a theory, histogen theory. According to it, plerome gives rise to plerome. According to the theory histogen, there are three layers or three zones in the meristematic zone of shoot tip, root and shoot tips. The growing points have three layers in the three zones in the meristem. One is the peribulum, plerome and the in the histogen there are three tissues, three histogens, the group of tissues. Those are dermatogen, peribulum and plerome. Dermatogen, peribulum and plerome. This dermatogen, it gives rise to the epidermis. Peribulum gives the ground tissue or the cortex. And plerome, it gives vascular tissue. From this, plerome is the innermost and the third zone of the histogen. Third histogen. Histogens are nothing but group or tissue that gave rise to another organ. According to histogen theory, the plerome gives rise to vascular tissue. So, vascular bundles is the correct option. Vascular bundles is the correct option. Vascular bundles. And the meristem, which develops into a primary vascular tissue, is primary vascular tissue దేని నుంచి వస్తుంది? Procambium. So cambium is the meristem which gives two types of tissues, xylem and phloem. Phloem and xylem are the vascular tissues which are originated from procambium. This cambium will give rise to, this is the cambium, it gives towards out phloem and towards in xylem. So procambium is the meristem that gives rise to phloem and xylem, vascular tissues. Which of the following is a secondary meristem? Procambium is a primary meristem. So phelloderm, primary cambium is primary annar kabatti it does not belong to the secondary category. It is also a primary one. Cork cambium is the secondary meristem. Phelloderm is not a cambium. Phelloderm, phellum, phellogen, phelloderm are phelloderm that gives rise to the secondary cortex part of the bark. The cambium is an example of lateral meristem, not the apical one. It belongs to lateral meristem category. Fibers are obtained from, fibers ఎక్కడెక్కడ చూస్తాము, xylem లో ఉంటాయి, phloem లో ఉంటాయి, స్క్లెరెన్కైమాలో కూడా ఉంటాయి. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద రైట్ ఆప్షన్. xylem, phloem, స్క్లెరెన్కైమా అండ్ ఎపిడర్మిస్లో ఉండవు. సో xylem, parenchyma, ఎపిడర్మిస్ ఓన్లీ xylemలోనే ఉంటాయి. xylem, parenchyma, ఎండోడర్మిస్. సో ఎండోడర్మిస్లో ఉండవు, parenchymaలో ఉండవు. సో ఆబ్వియస్లీ ద ఆన్సర్ ఈస్ xylem, phloem and sclerenchyma. Sclerites or fibers are present in these three tissues. The quiescent center in the root meristem serves as a quiescent center ante a group of cells in the root apical meristem. Root growth గ్రోయింగ్ పాయింట్లో ఉంటాయి ఈ క్విసెంట్ సెంటర్ అనే రీజియన్. ఈ రీజియన్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే అవసరాన్ని బట్టి ఇట్ కెన్ రీగెయిన్ ఇట్స్ డివైడింగ్ కెపాసిటీ. సో లెట్స్ సీ ద ఆప్షన్స్. Site for storage of food which is utilized during maturation. Reservoir of growth hormones. Reserves for replenishment of damaged cells of the meristem. This is the correct option. And region of absorption of water. This is wrong. The outermost primary meristem gives rise to, outermost annam kabatti obviously it gives rise to epidermis. Meristem annamu, so outermost layer of the meristem always gives rise to the outer covering. Meristem is defined as a plant tissue where cell conserves food and supply to it to new ones. Cells mature and add to the bulk of a plant. Cells elongate and add to growth of a plant. Cells divide continuously and give rise to new ones. Meristem antene dividing tissue. So the cells can divide continuously and give rise to the new ones. Vascular cambium of root is an example of apical meristem, intercalary meristem, secondary meristem and root apical meristem. It is a secondary meristem. Name the tissue from which procambium and primary structures of plant originates. Procambium and primary structures of plants. Phellum, calyptrogen, promeristem and none of these. Procambium annam kabatti promeristem nunche vastayi procambium. So vascular cambium అంటే ఇక్కడ మనం తెలుసుకున్నాం కదా సెకండరీ మెరిస్టంలో ఇట్ ఈస్ అ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ సెకండరీ మెరిస్టమ్. ఈవెన్ కార్క్ cambium is also a secondary meristem. Are examples of lateral apical elements of xylem and phloem, intercalary meristem. Vascular cambium అంటే lateral meristem. Cambium, always the cambium comes under the category of lateral only. It involves in the development of the diameter, increase in the diameter. Histogens are component of the histogens are differentiated in apical meristem, intercalary, secondary and lateral. Apical meristem only. Dermatogen is a tissue formed by apical meristem and develops into epidermis. మనం ఇందాక చూసాం కదా dermatogen, peribellum and pleurum. Dermatogen gives rise to epidermis and peribellum gives rise to cortex part of the tissue, and plerome gives the vascular bundles. Histogen theory is more applicable for shoot apex. Root cap regenerates or produced from calyptrogen, pleuron, dermatogen, periblem and histogen. Calyptrogen. Calyptra ante root cap. Calyptrogen is the tissue that gives rise to the root cap. The length of a plant axis increases by length ante primary growth. So increases by ఎపికల్ మెరిస్టమ్. ఆన్సర్ డైరెక్ట్గా లెంగ్త్ అన్నారు కాబట్టి. అదే థిక్నెస్ అయితే లేటరల్ మెరిస్టమ్. సో దట్ ఈస్ థిక్నెస్ అంటాం, డయామీటర్ ఆర్ థిక్నెస్. ఇలా యాక్సియల్ సైడ్ అయితే ఈ గ్రోత్ని ఎపికల్ మెరిస్టమ్తో వస్తుంది. ట్యూనికా కార్పస్ థియరీ వాజ్ ప్రపోజ్డ్ బై హూ ప్రపోజ్డ్ ద థియరీ? ట్యూనికా కార్పస్ థియరీ, షమిట్. అండ్ డర్మటోజన్, పెరిబ్లమ్ అండ్ ప్లూరోమ్ ఆర్ permanent tissues, meristematic tissues only. Quiescent center is found in stem, leaves, root, none. Root lo untundi quiescent center, indak chusam kada, they regenerates the tissue. Tunica corpus theory is related with root apex. Grass stem elongates by the activity of. గ్రాస్ స్టెమ్ అనే కాదు, ఏ స్టెమ్ అయినా సరే ఎపికల్ మెరిస్టమ్తో గ్రో అవుతుంది. వాస్క్యులర్ బండిల్స్ ఆర్ డిరైవ్డ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఆర్ ఒరిజినేటెడ్ ఫ్రమ్ డర్మటోజన్, పెరిబ్లమ్, ఎండోజీనస్ టిష్యూ, ద ప్రోకేంబియల్ స్ట్రాండ్ ఆర్ ఫ్లోయం, కార్టెక్స్. వాస్క్యులర్ బండిల్స్ పెరిడర్మ్ అంటే కాదు, డర్మటోజన్ ఎపిడర్మిస్ని ఇస్తుంది. పెరిడర్మ్ అంటే cork, outermost covering of the, after vascular tissue these tissues are formed. Endogenous tissue, the procambial vascular bundles are related to cambium. So this is the answer. Endogenous tissue, the procambial strand or the plerome annam kada, this is the answer. Histogen theory states that epidermis is derived from the periblum, cambium, cortex. Dermatogen is the correct option. Histogen theory was proposed by Handstein. Handstein proposed histogen theory. Dead cells of roots are supplied by calyptrogen, protoderm, phellogen, dermatogen. Dead cells of root, calyptrogen. Dead cells of root are supplied by calyptrogen. The calyptrogen of the root apex forms rhizoids, root hairs, root nodules. Root cap is the correct answer. Collenchyma generally occurs. Scattered in dicot root. Asal root lone undadu. So wrong. In a ring of monocots lo asalu collenchyma undadu. In patches under the epidermis, in dicot stem, in all the above. So this is the correct option. C is the correct option. Aerenchyma is found in. Aerenchyma ante parenchyma with large intercellular spaces filled with air. So aerenchyma is found in, example, floating hydrophytes అని చెప్పాను. Hydrophytes.